welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about Xavi, man, and this never-ending saga of will he or won't he? Is he gonna leave or is he gonna stay? I don't know about you guys, man, but I'm so sick and tired and honestly so confused by this whole situation. I wish it would just come to an end. Like, honestly, what are we doing here? Make up your mind. Are you leaving or are you staying? I can't do this back and forth anymore, man. It makes Barcelona look like such an unserious club, and I honestly can't stand it, bro. It makes my blood boil. Because we've been operating, when I say we, by the way, I'm talking about Barca fans. We've been operating with the mindset since late January that Barcelona was gonna have a new coach come the summertime, no matter what, because Xavi made that very clear. Xavi announced that he was stepping down, like I said, in late January. And at every single press conference since then, and by the way, I'm not exaggerating, literally at every single press conference since he announced that he was stepping down, he's been asked, Xavi, would you consider coming back if Barca win the UCL and La Liga, or if Barca win this, or if Barca win that, or if they offer you more money? Whatever, like, pick whatever circumstance. Are you considering coming back? And he said no. He shot down the question every single time. Every single time he shot down the question. He said, I'm not coming back no matter what. Does not matter. And no matter how many public attempts through the media Joan Porta tried to make to convince Xavi to come back, Xavi always said no. He stood firm and said, no, I'm not coming back. Barcelona will have a new coach come the summertime because I'm leaving. So obviously, we Barcelona's believed them because we have no reason to believe Xavi was lying to us. We took the man at his word. But then the news comes out yesterday, to our surprise, or to my surprise at least, that apparently Xavi has changed his mind. He's going to come back as Barca coach for one more season. This was reported by several different journalists in Catalonia, by the way. Now, how reliable are these journalists? Are they tier 1? Are they tier 2? Tiramisu? I really don't know, man. I really couldn't tell you. But again, the story is out there, and it was basically all over Barca news pages yesterday. And where there's smoke, there's fire. So we got to talk about this, obviously, because this to me is the biggest story surrounding Barcelona at the moment. The season is over, in my opinion. In my eyes, the season is done. Obviously, there's no Copa del Rey, there's no UCL, and we're 11 points back in La Liga with 6 games to go. So the season is done. This is the biggest story surrounding Barca at the moment. Who's going to be the coach come next season? It's imperative that Barca get this appointment right. If there is an appointment at this point, because we don't know. Maybe Xavi comes back. And also came out that Xavi apparently wants 3 conditions met by the board if he is to come back in the summertime. So today we're going to talk about this whole situation, obviously my thoughts, if I want Xavi to come back, the conditions that he's asking for, that he wants met, and obviously this whole thing, because I got a lot to say about it. If you guys agree or disagree, like always, please let me know in the comments section down below. But anyway, let's get into this. Let's start with the conditions that Xavi wants met if he is to come back as Barca manager next season. I have all 3 of them right here. Number 1, sign a good midfielder and an attacking player. Okay, pretty standard. Number 2, he asked that there be no friendly fire against him from within the club. Okay, again, pretty standard. And number 3, absolute support from the club in all matters. Again, pretty normal. Those are not crazy, man. That's like a human being asking for food, water, and shelter. It's literally the bare minimum, the bare necessities that you need to be a coach in any team, in any sport. You need to fill positions of need, which Barca do need to fill those 2 positions. We need to pivot desperately and also a winger. Like, you ask any Barca fan, what do you need this summer? We need Onana and Leao, or Subimendi and Nico Williams. It doesn't matter. They're going to pick one of those 2 combinations. We need a pivot so badly, it's fucking insane. And we also need an attacking player. And any coach that comes in, whether it's Rafa, Marquez, or Hansi Flick, are going to ask for the same thing. Because obviously they've watched Barca this year, and that's a gaping hole in our team. Especially the pivot. The winger's also a big hole, especially if Joao Felix doesn't come back. But still, I care more about the pivot. We need a pivot desperately, man. I don't care who it is. There's someone that's not Romeo. Please, for the love of God. Anybody that's not Romeo. So again, that to me is normal from Xavi. That's the bare minimum. Number 2, no backstabbing from within. That's normal, man. Like, what are we doing here? That creates, like, people talking shit about you in your own club, in your own staff, creates such a toxic work environment and such a lack of trust. It's not good, man. It's not conducive to winning. So again, that's normal to me. Xavi's not asking for too much there either. And number 3, absolute support from the club in all matters. Again, normal. Just support me. When I want to transfer, don't fucking overrule me. Like, actually think about it and be like, okay, yeah, maybe we can make this happen. We can move things around and make this happen. Because again, all 3 of these things are pretty standard to me, man. Again, you guys know I'm not the biggest Xavi fan. I'm going to criticize him later on in this video. But when it comes to these 3 conditions, if this is actually what he's asking for, this is not out of the ordinary. This is normal. Again, the bare minimum. I respect Xavi for laying that groundwork and saying, you know, if you want me to come back, this is what I need from you. So again, good for Xavi. But now let's talk about if I want him to come back, because that's the bigger story here. Here's the thing, and this is the only way to really look at this. Like, this is the best way to look at this whole situation, in my opinion. It depends on who's the alternative. Who is the alternative if it's not Xavi? Is it Rafa Marquez? Then give me Xavi. Give me Xavi for one more year. I don't want Rafa Marquez at Barcelona. Because if we appoint Rafa Marquez, we're basically saying we want to replicate the whole Pep thing. And that's not going to work, bro. It's really not going to work. It's almost the same exact thing as Pep. Rijkaard in 06-07 won a couple trophies, I'm pretty sure. Then 07-08 didn't win a single trophy. Then Pep came in 08-09. Barca's the same thing. Last year won a couple trophies. This year we're not going to win a single trophy. And now we want to bring in the guy from Barca B to maybe think, oh, it's going to be the replica from Rijkaard to Pep. No, it's not, bro. Rafa Marquez is not Pep. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that twice. Joan Laporta, you already struck gold with appointing Pep Guardiola in 08. It's not going to happen with Rafa Marquez. So again, if the alternative is Rafa Marquez, who's never coached a senior game in his life, then no. Because I've seen Xavi be a guy who's won a league title, who could actually coach at the highest level. No, do I think Xavi is the best coach ever? Absolutely not. But again, I've seen Xavi coach this team, and he has rapport with the players already. And it looks like the players actually want him to stay. So, I would take Xavi to come back instead of Rafa Marquez. But if the alternative is Xavi or Hansi Flick, give me Hansi Flick. I'm probably on an island on that, but again, I don't think Xavi's that good of a coach. And I think if we keep Xavi in this club, we're accepting mediocrity. And I don't want that, man. Because Barca fans, the only reason why we accept the things that we do, the only reason why Xavi gets away with so much is because he's a Barca legend. If Xavi was Joe Schmo and he had no Barca ties prior to coming to Barcelona, a lot of you Barca fans backing Xavi right now would be so fucking sick of him, bro. You'd be so sick of him because, again, he is a mediocre coach. I'm not apologizing for what I'm saying, by the way. He is a mediocre coach at best. I know I'm getting a lot of pushback in this video with this opinion, but I 100% with all my heart believe that opinion. I don't think Xavi's the best coach ever. Not even close, actually. And I think that when you look at his tenure at Barcelona, it's been kind of mediocre. First season there, he was good for a minute, and then it kind of we kind of started to play bad, especially towards the end of the year. Then second season there, we won a league title in a mediocre way. That is as mediocre of a league title as I've ever witnessed as a Barca fan. Again, I'm happy we won the league and won the Super Cup as well, but that was not a dominant league campaign by any means. And that Barca team was not that great in my opinion. It was a mediocre team that won the league because Madrid fell off. And now this year, we've been mediocre. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. When you don't win a single trophy, you're bad to mediocre. And for like 90% of the season, we've been shit. Let's be honest here, guys. We had that good stretch for the past month and a half. But other than that, man, people forget that 3-month stretch where we didn't manage to beat a team by over 1 goal. So again, no other manager gets away with that except for Xavi because, again, he's a Barcelona legend. And I love Xavi as a player, but again, that's the only reason why he gets away with what he gets away with. I would rather take Hansi Flick. Because Hansi Flick is a grown-up and I've seen him win big trophies. And Xavi can go on his little rant after every game and blame the refs after the Madrid game and blame the refs after the PSG game. You know what that shows to me? Lack of maturity. You're not an adult, man. You're a fucking child. And the same thing he does on the touchline every single time, getting sent off. That to me shows a guy who's not built for this moment. He's not built to coach this team. It's unacceptable, bro. If anything, yes, his tactics to me aren't great and his man management is subpar at best at times. And look, all that stuff is obviously there. We know that with Xavi. But the worst, the one reason why I want Xavi out more than anything is because of his sideline antics and how embarrassing it is for the club. It gives the club a bad name, and his post-game interviews constantly blaming the refs and deflecting blame on everybody else but himself is so fucking maddening, bro. And I know Hansi Flick's not going to do that. That's the thing with Xavi, man. There's a lot of peaks and there's a lot of valleys. And the valleys are really, really low. The peaks are high, like we saw, obviously, like Antwerp and Betis and Celta Vigo. That was a high peak. And then obviously this was a high peak as well. The big games, we won those games. And again, I'm not being ungrateful because I'm proud of the team the way we played. And I think Xavi did a good job against PSG, both legs. Particularly in that first leg, obviously. And like I said, the second leg was Araujo. He lost us that tie. It was not Xavi. But again, he's the one that got sent off in the second leg. When the game was still in the balance. Barca still were tied on that game. Because he got sent off after Vitinha scored the goal. And when Vitinha scored the goal to equalize the aggregate score. So to me, that's unacceptable. And I think that, I don't know if this is a ploy by Xavi this whole time to maybe get his way. Because he was trying to, like, maybe in a way, I don't know if this is the right word, but extort Joan Laporta in a way to say, like, hey, I'm leaving if you don't give me these things. Like, I'm out of here, but you gotta, like, I'm out of here. And then he kind of changed his mind and said, okay, I'm not gonna leave, but you gotta give me these things. Kind of like to build some leverage, like to get some leverage against Joan Laporta and Deco and the Barca board to get what he wants. I don't know if that was the case. I hope it's not. I don't think Xavi would do that because I know how much he loves Barcelona. But again, bro, if we're picking between Xavi and Hansi Flick, give me Hansi Flick. If it's Xavi or Julian Nagelsmann, give me Julian Nagelsmann. Even if it's Xavi and Thiago Motta at this point, give me Thiago Motta. The only guy that I would not take over Xavi is Rafa Marquez at this point. That's the only guy. Because I've seen this team too long be kind of mediocre. And there's no, like, people talk about the injuries, guys, and that's true. Injuries don't excuse you not being able to beat Granada and Mallorca. And, struggling against Barbastro and Unionistas and Salamanca in the Copa del Rey. It's not an excuse, bro. We should not be looking at injuries to play against those teams. Again, if it's against Real Madrid or PSG, you can say injuries. But not against those small teams, man. And for too long this year we struggled and we did not look good. And the players regressed, in my opinion. A lot of the players regressed. They did not get better. And look, the one thing that Xavi did better than any Barca manager that I've seen is he trusted the academy. And that's going to be his legacy at Barcelona as a manager is going to be the way that he brought the academy guys up. And he made them, bona fide starters. Marquez and Lamine Yamal, Barca are literally they're going to sit mid-table if he doesn't start playing those two guys significant minutes. That's the only reason why Barca is still alive right now, because Xavi trusted Marquez and he trusted Lamine Yamal. And for that, I give him immense props. That is huge, man. And very few managers in world football will do that. But again, not every manager has La Masia in their backyard. That's one of one. We have the best academy in the world right there. It takes if you watch Marquez and Lamine Yamal and you don't see their talent, you're fucking blind. And I think Xavi has a good enough eye for football, obviously, because he played it and he knows what talent looks like to see, oh, those two kids, yeah, they're generational. Bring them up to the first team because I want to play them. Again, does it take a genius to do that? No, but Xavi had the balls to do that. He had the fucking cojones to go out and bring those two guys in and play them on the first team. And now they're both starters on the team at 16 and 17 years old. That's unheard of, bro. A team like Barcelona having a 16 and a 17-year-old be starters and two of our best players is not normal, bro. It's not normal, bro. Like that's unheard of. So again, I give props to Xavi for that, and that's gonna affect the manager after him, because the manager after him, whether it's Hansi Flick or Rafa Marquez, whoever it is, ex-manager, pick whatever manager you want. He's gonna use Lamine Yamal and Kuwarc are gonna start next year. First game of the season for Barcelona, Kuwarc and Lamine Yamal are gonna start. No, I don't care who we sign, they're gonna start because they're both generational. But again, I'm not very optimistic about the next season with Xavi. Because I think that anytime you see your rival fans be happy that you're keeping a manager, that should automatically raise, the alarm should go off in your head. Ask any Real Madrid fan you know, and I know plenty, bro. Some of my closest friends that I love dearly with all my heart, they support Real Madrid. My cousin, who's like my brother, he supports Real Madrid. I literally called him yesterday and I said, hey, bro, what do you think of Xavi maybe staying? He said, yes, let him stay, please. That's not okay. That's alarm bells go off in my head. Alarm bells go off in my head. So again, I don't know. That's just my opinion. If it's Rafa Marquez, then you let Xavi stay, but I would prefer Hansi Flick over Xavi. I know I'm on an island there, but I think Hansi Flick is more of a grown-up, and he can actually he can conduct himself better than Xavi can. Because I think what Xavi's done this year with his silent antics and the blaming the refs and deflecting the blame and his post-game press conferences has been shameful. And it gives Barca fans and the club such a bad name and such a bad rap. It's not good enough, man. You got to be an adult. And what you're doing is not okay. But again, that's just my opinion. I'm sorry if I spoke a little bit too quick on this in this video and I kind of got caught up with my words a lot. If you're watching up until this point in the video, I apologize, because I do that a lot and I think you guys are used to it by now. It's obviously, but I'm very passionate about this topic. So when I get angry, I kind of get riled up and I start kind of stuttering a little bit. So again, I apologize for that. But again, this topic I care deeply about because it's about the club and the future of Barcelona. And if I want to see my team in 10, 15 years still be a team that's contending for trophies and big trophies and winning UCLs and not become the new AC Milan where we're one of the big boys, where we become irrelevant for basically a decade, I don't want that to happen. I really don't want Barca to be the next AC Milan. I want us to be relevant for years to come. And again, I'm not saying Xavi's the worst manager of all time, but if you want to accept mediocrity, you appoint the same guy. Because again, people are going to talk about last season, the league title and all that stuff, but they won't bring up that Madrid was mediocre. And we struggled for the latter part of that year. Remember losing against Elche and Valladolid, I'm pretty sure. Or tying against one of those teams. It was just not good enough, man. It was not good enough. Losing in the Copa del Rey this year again. Granted, yes. We made it to the UCL quarterfinal. We should have won that tie. People say we should have beat Madrid. I don't know if we should have or shouldn't have. I really don't care to talk about that anymore because I thought the league was going to be over whether we beat them or not. They were going to win the league no matter what. So who gives a fuck about that anymore? Again, I would love for us to beat Real Madrid, but again, it didn't happen. But you going out there and blaming the refs is unacceptable. Be a grown-up, man. You're supposed to be the figure of Barcelona. You're not some fan anymore. You're the club. You're the ambassador for the club. And the injury, the squad quality excuse is bullshit to me because Barca have a great squad. I don't care what anybody says. Barcelona have a great squad, a really, really good squad. Look at that back line. Yes, there's gaps in that back line. There's gaps in every single back line. Real Madrid started Nacho at center back against Man City. They started Chouameni in the first leg, who's not even a center back. They've been starting Lunin at goalkeeper, who's their backup, or Kepa, because they lost their top goalkeeper. And they lost their best center back. They lost Vini for time. They lost Rodrigo for time. They lost Bellingham for a period of time. And guess what? They still topped their group in the UCL, and they're going to win the Liga going away. And we barely won our group, lost to Antwerp and Shakhtar Donetsk. The injury should not be an excuse here because you still have by far and away the better team, the better squad quality. So again, this whole injury shit missed me with that. I'm not going to buy that. Maybe some other Barca fan who doesn't watch the games and doesn't understand football, maybe he can buy that, but not me. Because I watch every game this team plays, and I know that the injury excuse is not good enough for this team. It's just not. So again, miss me with that. But anyway, I want to know your guys' thoughts. This video is already way too fucking long, but again, I'm very passionate about this topic. But yeah, let me know if you guys agree or disagree. I love every single one of you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.